the importance of the expressing the feeling of the receiver. If you want to see any of the past lessons, they're all recorded on our Facebook page. I think it's facebook.com/Chabad NFLD. Chabad NFLD. So continuing inside the text. So when it comes to acts of kindness, there are two particular things that stand out, or two essential things. Aleph, number one, Hanifal mitzvah, what's accomplished from the mitzvah, commandment. Through an act of kindness, you fulfill the needs of the other person. Or maybe you bring a benefit to him. Base, number two, the effect that comes from the person. The attribute of kindness of one doing kindness. So you have what happens from the mitzvah, that the person's needs are getting fulfilled, or whatever benefit it is. And number two, that the person is doing an act of kindness. He is working, developing his attribute of kindness. Likewise, when it comes to having guests over, you have these two details. It's also a big mitzvah, right? As we know that Abraham, he told Hashem to wait, and he went to greet the angels, who to him looked like people, looked like wayfarers, people that were traveling. So that's how great the mitzvah of welcoming guests is. So let's see. Aleph, number one. When you greet a guest, so he is receiving food and drinks, etc. So different things that the host has to give what he needs, make him feel at home. Base, number two. And then you have the attribute of kindness of the host, the owner of the house. The not the significance, but the attention that he gives to the guest. So in general, when it comes to acts of kindness, and the commandments between one and his fellow in general, it's relevant. The outcome. The favor, the benefit that the person receives in actuality. In other words, your nice feelings and intentions are not the main thing. The main thing is that did the person get the food that he needed? Did he get the money that he needed, etc. Right? And the attribute of kindness of the one doing the act of kindness is not relevant to the person that's on the receiving end. Rather, the attribute of kindness, it's only relevant, only affects the one that's doing the act of kindness. To the point that we find when it comes to tzedakah, the person loses a coin from his hand, and the poor person finds it, and then he uses it to sustain himself. The person that lost it did a mitzvah, right? Because we see it's completely irrelevant. The giver's kindness, the giver's intentions, the giver's care. What matters is that the receiver got what he needed. As we see in this example of a person loses a coin, the poor person finds it. The person that lost the coin got a mitzvah, though that was not his intent clearly. But by welcoming guests, this is new novelty, something we don't find by other acts of kindness. Because here the attribute of kindness, the feelings of kindness of the host do affect, are relevant to the guest. Yeah. It's going to affect all the different actions that the host is doing for the guest. Because why? When you're hosting guests, the guest has to feel that everything you do is with care. If he feels that it's a burden, then it's not really the way the mitzvah was intended to be. Yeah. Mitzvah shaloi. Was it's all that it should be done with feeling, it should be done with love for a fellow Jew. Kemenubas v'dibra Rambam, hinted in the words of the Maimonides, the Rambam, shekol mitzvahs elu arei hein bichlal vehavta l'reacha kamoicha. All these mitzvahs, to welcome guests, acts of kindness, are part of the general commandment of loving a fellow like yourself, which, by the way, is coming up, I believe, is the next week's parsha, Parshas Kedoshim, in Vayikra, in Leviticus. This expressed in the obligation that we have to escort our guests a little bit. Why? Because when you escort him out of the house, that's not to fulfill his needs while he's staying in your house, while he's being a guest. Right? When he's a guest, you need to worry about food and drink for him, etc. Just an act of kindness, you should do it. Right? And therefore, when the connection between the two ends, the giver, the receiver, the host, the guest leaves. So when the host leaves the house together with the guest, walks a few steps with him, escorting him, they're doing the mitzvah of escorting a guest, so then the guest really feels that everything the host did was from a good heart, came out of good faith. Shem is onion boy, he's interested in the person. And it's significant to him, the guest's goodness and wellness. So that explains the continuation of the words of Maimonides. Yeah, in the laws of mourning, it says that the reward for escorting somebody that's greater than everything else. And this is the statue that Abraham, our forefather, engraved on the way of kindness that he walked on. He would feed the passers-by, give them to drink, and he would escort them. So now the Lubavitcher Rebbe quotes the words of the Maimonides the Rambam just said. The statue that Abraham carved out. It's not just one detail in the escorting itself, but refers to the just in general, the way you receive and host guests. שאברהם אבינו קבץ הכנס צריכים באופן כזה שיכלול בשכל לא רק המעשה ונפעל בגלוז חסד וצריך של הריח אלא גם es midas החסד של בעל הבית מהריח. Yeah, because Abraham instituted for eternity that the way you welcome a guest is not just taking care of all his needs while he's a guest, but also this involves the kindness of the host, since we see that he also has to escort the person, as we said, that has nothing to do with the guest's needs, that's beyond his basic requirement. That's the way of kindness that Abraham walked on. Because to Abraham was the same thing, to give him to drink, give him to eat, and to escort them. And we could also understand the conclusion of the word of Maimonides. The sages said in the Talmud, whomever doesn't escort his guests as if he has spilled blood, committed murder. Because this is the same as escorting. So the fact that it says in the end that not escorting is like murder, God forbid. So escorting, which is very, very positive, is also brought in a similar fashion at the beginning of that law. The Rambam doesn't just mean that if you don't escort the person could, God forbid, be murdered because he's alone. Rather, is also a feeling by the guest that he was murdered. Because when the host doesn't escort him, he feels he was a burden to him. He feels that the host doesn't care for him. Yeah, that he feels that all the kindness the host put into it, it's not real, and he doesn't care about the mitzvah of welcoming a guest. And then the redness of his face goes away, and then he gets white. He feels embarrassed. So, which is in a way also murder because blood goes away from the face. That's what the Talmud says. Similarly to tzedakah that we said already many times, should begin with a happy countenance, with joy. Right, and you're supposed to give and supposed to give and mourn with the receiver for his tough situation. Not so when a person gives tzedakah, gives to the poor person, and he gives a bad face, and his face is buried in the ground. Okay, yeah, he loses the merit of the mitzvah, and he ruined it. But peace and moving on, matam b'sei sharama mafrid b'fnei atzmei b'mitzvah sechnes hashachim like zayin shel leves achim. So now we can understand why Maimonides separates and mentions separately the concept of escorting the guests. Because this specifically emphasizes the mitzvah of escorting the guests. Yeah. Hasimas leiv l'oreach, paying attention to the guests. More than this, when there's no escorting, if you don't escort him, then retroactively you're missing, the person is missing the mitzvah of feeding and giving to drink to the guest, right? Because just like tzedakah, you should give with a happy face, with a happy countenance, and not with your face buried in the ground and angry and upset that he, as if he just took a bite out of your heart. So the fact that now you're escorting him, and that doesn't involve the time when he's in your house, it's really out of your house, but still you take from your time and your care to walk with him. So that shows that what you did before, you really cared. I think I'm going to stop over here. We had 15 minutes, so it doesn't get too dense. We'll continue, God willing, next class here, subsection 16. All right. Have a good evening. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, I'm Rabbi Chernitsky, Director of Chabad of Newfoundland. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can send us an email, rabbinewfoundland@gmail.com. Our website is, you guessed it, rabbinewfoundland.com. Have a wonderful evening. Have a healthy, safe